What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
You're the new stud, are you?
How do you mean?
Stud. Hotshot, brain.
RadioWhat.com. What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And for DJ services, you know, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote, and you can have me. Yes, I'll be at your party. I'll be at your event. I'll be at your wedding. I'll be at your corporate event. I'll be at your kid's party, your kid's birthday party. I'll entertain the kids while you guys, stand around and converse and chit chat. You can have some adult time. Yeah, I like all kinds of parties. Karaoke jam, video dance party. Ask me about it. Today on the program, before I get ahead of myself, John W. Canada III. This guy, my best friend for the longest time. I've known him longer than many, many people. My oldest, my dearest friend. I've known him since high school. It's probably the first day or even week of high school, of ninth grade in Fort Lauderdale, or in Davie, Florida, Western High School. Class of 86 rules, baby. I know he was class of 85. He was 1 year ahead of me. And we met on the bus. So, and I know he's done a lot of things since then. We've grown apart geographically, maybe not in our hearts. I still love that man, John W. Canada III. But he had something growing up that kind of affected us both, and you'll hear about that on the podcast. And he's done some things, some great things, and you'll hear about that on the podcast. I'm kind of excited for you to hear all about John W. Canada III, right here. This week's shows, if you're listening as the podcast comes out, let's see. I don't have any karaoke shows other than, on Saturday, July 27th, which is my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Kenny. July 27th, I will be at the CosCon and the Cos Prom that is at the Little Rock Airport at the Holiday Inn. It's during the day, it's a CosCon, which is a Comic-Con of sorts, but mostly geared towards cosplay. So you might want to check that out. And the theme is the greatest show. So you can come dressed like a clown if you don't feel like being dressed like a superhero, or any kind of a carnival type person. But the theme is, I'm kind of excited about that. That's over at the Holiday Inn Airport on Saturday. Let's see, I'm looking at the event page. It starts at 10 a.m. and I think it goes to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then shortly after that, I'll take over. It'll switch from the CosCon over to the Cos Prom. Now, the CosCon was about cosplay, but the Cos Prom is also about cosplay, but it's cosplayers as if they were going to the prom. Now, they did this one time before last year, and I was able to be involved in that. I was kind of excited about that in the first CosCon, and it came out so good. All these kids showed up, not just kids, people of all ages, because cosplay is for everyone. Cosplayers of all ages were at the CosCon last year, and it was, say, Spider-Man with a bow tie, or Wonder Woman wearing a nice evening gown. So she had the stars and the lasso, but she had an evening gown on. So yeah, there's some cool thoughts. Anime characters that were dressed up like they were gonna go to prom. So cool. And I was glad to be a part of that. And I'm happy to be a part of it again this year. So come join me July 27th for the CosCon and the Cos Prom of Arkansas. The greatest show, 2019. That's Saturday at 10 a.m. Starts at 10 a.m. and it goes all the way till midnight. Ooh, that's a long day. You better get a nap. It's over at the Holiday Inn, Little Rock Airport. in Little Rock, Arkansas. So come check it out. All right, let's get into it with my bestest buddy, John William Canada III. Calling John William Canada III now.
Dan the man.
Johnny Old Bean, old boy, old pal of mine.
What's happening, dude?
Oh, you tell me, man. It's been a good long while since I've seen you. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. What Makes You Famous? John, Canada, everybody. How was your day?
Oh, my day was awesome.
Awesome. You're throwing that word around. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean, John Canada?
It means me. Awesome.
So awesome. If I look it up in the dictionary, big picture of
You
you.
see me.
Yeah. Dig it.
You see me with no hair.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, I noticed that the hair might be thinning. Is it not?
No hair. Not thinning, just no hair.
Just completely not existent.
That's right. And I like it that way. Bald is beautiful.
You know, when I met you, you had a full head of hair. Of course,
Yes,
that
I
was
know.
a long time ago. my man. In a
Yeah, I've
galaxy
been-
far, far away.
Oh, my gosh. I've been shaving since probably '08.
Oh, okay. All right. You mean shaving the head, not the beard.
Yeah. The head. And keeping my face clean shaven. Yeah.
Oh, he's a pretty boy. You know, my grandmother always said pretty legs.
Yeah.
And I agree. And the legs have gotten prettier since you started running.
Yes.
And we're going to go through a few of the facets of you, John Canada, things that
All right.
you want to divulge to the people. Tell everybody everything, or at least what you want them to know.
Right.
Let's start before we even met, because we met at the beginning of high school. But previous to that, you know, you had some semblance of life at an early age. You started out as a child, much like many people do. Where were you born, man?
Yeah, I was born in Hialeah Hospital, that is.
Hialeah. See, these are things I didn't know. I've known you since at least, well, it has to be 1983.
Yeah.
And I had no idea you were born in Hialeah, where my grandmother lived, where my grandfather lived, where my mother lived. She even went to high school in the area. Yeah. How did you end up in Hialeah? Who was living there?
Oh, my mom and dad were living there.
I had no idea. See, I'm learning things about you. I thought I knew you pretty well. So your mom and dad were living in Hialeah. What were they doing?
Oh, they were working, I assume. They were freshly married for about a year.
And
or two.
Where did they meet? Do you know?
At a dance, I believe.
At a dance. Now, are they from Hialeah or are they from some other place?
Oh, well, my mother, God rest her soul,
Yes.
was from Ohio, Cincinnati.
You see, I had no idea that the crafty lady was from Cincinnati, Ohio. And yes, I did say the crafty lady
But she's the only one. The rest of us are natives.
of Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how did she get here, or how did she get to South Florida from Ohio?
I don't even know that part.
So that part of her history is lost.
It was
to history.
unimportant.
I got you. And then Dad, your dad, John Canada Jr. See, you're John Canada the Turd, and I've always said the Turd because it's I number 3.
I.
You were the third run of the series, so maybe a trilogy is what we can call your family. Can you go back further? What was John Canada the first, like, before they started
Senior?
putting numbers after there?
No, senior was pretty good.
Okay. What kind of work did he do?
Well, when I knew him,
Uh-huh.
he was retired already.
Ah, I got you. Do you remember what he did in his
Before that,
his former life?
Nope.
Okay, so let's go with Dad. What I mean, I know a little bit about what your father did. He kind of did some
Dad's
kind of
the budget-
government work.
Dad is the budget man.
The budget man, good with numbers.
The budget man. The budget man for 26 years of the county of Broward.
So something that did any of that rub off on you, numbers wise, or working for the county?
Working for government did,
Yep.
but not working for the finance did not.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're delving into a little bit of John Canada, John W. Canada the third. If you want to look him up and find out more, we're gonna talk a little bit here on the podcast. What makes you famous, John? I know I sprung it on you, spur of the moment. Like yesterday, I said, "Hey, you want to be on the podcast?" And you said, "Yeah." Yeah, without even blinking, without even missing a beat.
I know. A chance to talk about me.
A chance to talk about you. Well, tell more about you. All right. So, your dad, even before you were born, was he always in the budget of Broward?
No.
Okay.
No.
What did he start?
He actually started off to be a CPA and decided that he didn't want to do that job.
Okay.
So he went into government administration instead.
So, but still, his training as a CPA did help with the budget work, right? 'Cause it's all
it did.
very similar.
did.
So that's how he
It
got the
did.
gig. Oh, I get it. See, it's all coming together. And then, okay, so your mom and dad, you think they met at a dance somehow? So way after high school?
Yeah, I think right around after high school.
Okay. And then they fell in love, love at first sight, I'm guessing.
I don't know.
And then somewhere along the line, you came along. Hialeah, man. See, that's still blowing my mind.
Great.
I thought you were from Fort Lauderdale. And,
It was a great 3 years, and then other children came.
Well, so you had a kind of an interesting first few years as a child. What year were you born?
1967.
1967.
And that makes me what? 52.
52. Well, I'm 50. I'm right behind you. I'll always be right behind you.
Yep. Yeah, that could be scary.
Yes, I'm your biggest stalker, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. That's okay. That's the kind of business I'm in now.
Yes. All right. And
The stalking business.
and we'll definitely get into that as well. So 1967, you're born. Things are going well. You're a perfect bouncing baby boy. What happens?
What happens? It gets discovered that I am epileptic.
And how early was this brought on? How early did they find out about this?
About 5.
About 5. And by this time, had your siblings been born?
One had.
That would be little brother Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth, yes. Okay, and so how did they find out about your epilepsy then?
Oh, well, I had a big old fit in the front yard.
Okay, and this is distinguished from a regular 5-year-old throwing a fit?
Yeah. It was a fall on the ground and throw your body around kind of fit that I had no control over, and that I still remember happening.
Yeah, at 5 years old, I think you might have some cognitive memory, because I do remember when my little brother Kenneth was born, and I think I was 3.5 years old. So I can imagine that you could remember what happened at 5 years old. So in the front yard, and is this in Hialeah, or had you moved to Colorado by then?
This is in Hollywood by then.
Hollywood. Okay,
At
Hollywood,
that point,
Florida.
we were in Hollywood.
All right, Hollywood, Florida, and you're out in the yard throwing a fit. And what happened next? Who witnessed this?
The next thing I know, we're going to the hospital.
And how did they diagnose you?
I'm sure they tested I'm sure they ran a whole number of tests in the early 70s.
Right. And how did they think your epilepsy was brought on?
At that point, I don't think they knew.
Okay.
Because I didn't know until, spoiler, had surgery.
Right.
What the cause was.
Okay. So, since you've already spoiled it, what was it?
It was just some rogue cells that were not developed correctly, and they just were always firing off.
Huh. And as children, even though we were in high school, we're children. I always remember you saying that it was you got dropped on your head. Was there any truth to that?
There was a couple times where I fell on my head or my neck.
Right. So you theorized that maybe that might have been
was
part
the cause.
Yeah.
Right. Which turns out I was wrong.
Huh.
It was not the cause.
Gotcha.
The cause was during development.
All right. So it was some kind of a defect of birth.
Right.
Okay. Well, there we go. Medical science can diagnose. So growing up with epilepsy, even from an early age, how were they able to treat it? How were they able to take care of you, John?
Well, it was loaded up with drugs. Any kind of drugs to sedate the ongoing misfire of these cells that I didn't know were at fault.
Okay. So, say what kind of medicine was being prescribed for this? Do you know?
Oh, a laundry list.
Well, from what I remember, you said that
I think I changed medicines like 12 times.
Yeah, from what I understand, you remember. I remember you saying you could knock out an elephant with the stuff that you were taking
easily. I was at one point at the highest point.
Right.
I was at the max on all doses.
Okay, max. Well, do you remember any of the medicines that you were on?
Yeah, Keppra. Phenobarbital when I was little.
And what kind of
Depakote,
what kind of side effects? Ooh, more. And what kind of side effects that these medicines?
To me,
yeah,
I really didn't notice any.
Okay, I mean, when I met you, and you were already clear into your teens when I met you, you seemed rather normal most of the time, pretty energetic. Yeah. Always had.
Wait! You said most of the time.
Yeah.
What about the other times?
The other times, you had little tweezers as
tweezers. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, as our friend Eric Musgrave.
You mean like a salad?
Like a salad. That is correct.
Like a Caesar salad.
Like a Caesar salad. In fact, you may have had one while we were on a double date, maybe having some salad at a restaurant.
Maybe.
But I remember it was so small. It was so petite. You were able to keep the conversation going. I remember a time when you were playing pinball, and you were able to keep the ball rolling. You never lost the ball through the flippers. But I know that you you stopped. Your seizures, how did they manifest after all this medicine?
The body got used to medicine, so the seizures continued.
Okay. And this is throughout your life, and well,
Throughout my life,
yes,
into 20 years of my marriage,
yes,
and my children till they were, I think, 5 or 6.
And how did that affect your marriage? Did it put any undue strain on it, or was it problematic in any way, or was it just fine?
No, it was a point of fear for the wife.
How so?
Always afraid of what's going to happen when I drive, or when I this and when that.
So you were able to drive?
Oh, I was able to drive, and now that I look back, I'm quite sure that the number of accidents that I was in had something to do with it.
Oh, so you had some accidents while you were driving.
Oh yeah.
From what age to what age?
Yeah. Oh well, the first big one, we were first married, I broke my kneecap.
Oh, accidents, meaning, well,
Car.
with the car accidents, yes.
Yeah.
And you broke your kneecap. So,
Yeah.
how did that affect you, work-wise and family-wise? And
well, that was before the kids.
okay.
So it wasn't too bad of an effect.
Oh, okay. So, moving forward, how did you overcome the epilepsy? I know you hinted at it a little bit.
Well,
I mean, you had to go through a lot of suffering. Say it.
Well, interestingly enough,
Mm-hmm.
it all came out of a trip to North Carolina for a job, which I had anticipating being the next step in my law enforcement career.
Mm.
How wrong I was.
Okay.
The stress caused this weird, never seen before seizure.
Ooh. How did that manifest?
It was like a frozen statue.
And you just stopped for how long?
A good 2 minutes.
Who witnessed this?
My wife. So, and that was immediately following a lot of stress in the job and a boss that was probably too young to be a boss.
And you're saying you were in the law enforcement somewhere?
No, I was at that time in North Carolina. I was working in a law enforcement capacity for the Bank of America.
Like a security type thing?
Yeah, somewhat. It was a protective service manager.
Got you. So you helped to stop losses at the bank?
Well, no, actually, we investigated the crime of the crimes against the bank and the employees and the customers.
Well, that sounds like a pretty responsible job, taking care of people's money.
It was kind of fun had it not been for the people that I worked with.
Oh. Well, that does happen. People have to work with people that they don't like from time to time.
But see, I'm convinced the good Lord sent me to this job.
Yes.
Knowing it was going to do what it was going to do. Because the whole point of going to North Carolina was to end the epilepsy.
Yeah. So you found the good out of a bad.
So, yeah. So
okay, after this.
After the seizure.
Yes.
The neurologist there quickly said, above my pay grade.
Ooh.
And referred me up to an epileptologist.
Okay. And that was also in North Carolina?
Who then did a battery of tests.
Mm-hmm. Involving, if you know which ones,
involving the seizures.
like
I spent and that was in August, in about Thanksgiving of 2012.
right.
Spent a week in the hospital for them to take away my medicine and make all the seizures happen, so that they can determine where is this problem.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving! No turkey for you.
So after that, I went through a number of other tests, psychological tests, a test which they call the WADA test, which is the coolest test in the world.
What was the name of it?
WADA, WADA.
Okay, and what is that an
And
acronym?
that's
for
an
something?
acronym. That's an acronym, right? It's a medical acronym.
Do you happen to know
Anyway,
what it is?
what happens
Okay.
in this test is they shut off half your brain and ask you around a bunch of questions. And then they shut off the other half and ask the questions again. All while you are awake.
Wow, that sounds pretty interesting.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And so what happened when you had one half of the brain shut down?
Well, so that test was to find out what operates what.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, where are my memories stored? Where are my cognitive abilities? Where are my motor skills?
So I'm looking here. I have the WADA test, also known as the intercarotid sodium amobarbital procedure, establishes cerebral language and memory representation of each hemisphere. Okay,
Yep.
So they do shut down one half of your brain and figure things out.
They do.
So what did they ask you questions while one half was shut down?
Yeah, that was the purpose.
And
shut one half off.
Uh-huh.
And ask me a bunch of questions.
Uh-huh.
And switch it.
Yeah.
And ask me the same questions to see if I answer the same way.
And did you?
I'm sure I did for most, but I'm sure I didn't for others, which is why they were able to pinpoint where the problem was.
That's cool. So with a Q&A, using this WADA test, you were able to figure out where the problem was, or at least the physician was able to find
right.
It.
So what happened?
Yeah.
They took all of that information and the psychological test that I had to take, which was like an 8-hour test.
Right.
Puzzles and questions and just gauge my psychological health.
And
so by January of 2013,
yep.
They had put all this information in front of a board to decide, to determine what the next course of action was.
Right.
The next course of action was I could have had I had two options.
Mm-hmm.
I could have had just one surgery, or I could have had them put grafting material on my brain in one surgery and then go back again in the second. I opted for only one surgery.
Yeah, that sounds right. If you're going to cut me open, cut me once.
Yep. And what ended up happening after the board of doctors had to decide if I was even eligible to do this based on the testing and the history.
Right.
On February 20th,
yeah,
I had brain surgery.
Yes.
They took out a golf ball size of my right anterior temporal lobe. They took out my amygdala and one of my hippocampi.
Okay. That sounds like a whole lot of brain, man.
So they took all of that out,
Mm-hmm.
and I was out of work until probably April of that year.
So that quick. Wait a minute. You're telling me in 2 months you were rehabilitated enough to get
in the matter of about 6 months.
Yes.
I went from the seizure
Yes.
to surgery.
Yes.
Unheard of. Normally takes a year longer.
Right. So you were an absolutely perfect candidate for this.
It just went quick.
Yes.
Bing, 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 and there it was.
Now, what was the advantage?
So, by this whole time,
Yeah.
I was fatter than the hog.
Okay.
So, after I was healing,
Mm-hmm.
I decided I need to drop some weight.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
A lot of weight.
How did you do that, John Canada?
We were still in North Carolina. I was still out of work. But I was able to walk the girls to the bus stop and then go walk after they got picked up from the bus.
Yeah.
Which got me to walking about, it started off at 3 miles a day, and then it got to 4 and 5 and 6 and 10, where I would just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. So in about 8 months, in about 3 months,
Yes.
cutting back the food, cutting out the soda, cutting out all the other crap, I dropped 70 pounds.
Yeah. Get it.
But that wasn't enough
Okay.
because walking got boring.
Yes. Yes. You're saying,
So-
were you walking in different places? Were you walking any?
So, yeah, I was walking from our house to, things were pretty close, within 2 miles, or 2 or 3 miles. I could go to the mall or to the plaza.
Walking by yourself, or you have some family
Yeah.
with you?
No, by myself.
By yourself. Got it.
So, and Chris was still working at this point. She was still working where she was working. Well, so I was dropping the girls off at the bus stop and going for my walks.
Okay.
So by August, we came back here to Florida for a visit, and I had dropped all the weight.
Yeah. Get it. And this
And
is all
then-
from walking and eating less,
That's it.
or eating right, I guess.
That's it.
Who taught you how to do this, or did you teach
and I
yourself?
got to tell you,
Yeah.
that only works once,
Okay.
because once your body's used to it, you can't go back and do that same thing again and get the same results. It doesn't work. Tried
Okay.
it. I've tried it since then. It doesn't work. You have to step up the game because your body is already at that level of fitness. So you can't go back to that to have the same thing happen again.
Right. Well, that's
So-
that's quite a tip right there.
So already knowing and already getting bored with the walking, I decided, let's see what running is like. And you know me, did I ever do any running ever?
Not really. And we were both pretty sedentary people as we were growing up.
Yep. So started with, and that was in April. That was in August. I decided to do that. So by November,
Mm-hmm.
I entered the turkey trot.
And what's the turkey trot?
The turkey trot was a 4-mile run.
4 miles.
I worked up to that. So prior to that, I had done a 5K, which is 3.1 miles.
Uh-huh.
And I was well on my way to running. I was running pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Every day. By March of that following year, I had run a half marathon,
This is 2014.
14,
Yes.
a half marathon.
Yes. And this is way more than 4 miles. Half marathon's what, 13? 13 and a half?
13.1.
Yeah. So That's it. You took off running
That's it.
and never stopped?
Yeah, well, I had to stop at the end to get my medal.
So you didn't Forrest Gump it where you ran across country.
Nope.
Man, see, and running was a turning point for you too. It seems like you've
So-
become a master of running, somewhat of an expert, if you will.
So funny story.
Yes.
I was picking my girls up one day, and I had talked to somebody that I had seen that had a running shirt on, and she said to me, I said, I wonder if I could do a full marathon.
Yeah.
She was like, well, you did half. Your body will remember how to do it. So that summer, I trained, and that November, I ran a full 26.2 miles
November
of 14.
in Fort Lauderdale.
And no,
Where?
most of this running occurred in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Hills?
In I might add, yeah, it's pretty hilly in some spots.
Mm-hmm.
In sometimes 20-degree weather.
Yeah, November in North Carolina. Could be
Yeah.
snowing.
Yeah, no, not snowing that day, but it was cold.
It was cold.
But I was good.
Did you take a warm
Because as long as
jacket?
you move, as long as you move, you're warm.
Well, I suspect, but man, you had to be moving.
As long as you're moving, you're warm.
Okay, so North Carolina, you're running. This is your new endeavor, but you were able to get back to work. What kind of work did
Yes,
you end up doing in April?
Well, the work front did not continue to happen in North Carolina.
Okay.
It had us returning to Florida. That was the good Lord saying, yeah, we're done here. Go back to Florida.
I guess that does happen. So this is April of 2013. Wait.
No, we're in November of 2014.
Okay, but you were able to get back to work April of 2013, though, right?
I was able to get until February of 14 when they decided they were just going to lay us all off.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was a big turning point. But at this point, you were already running, and you had that going for you. You've torn off all the weight, which is great, and you're eating right. How's the family at this point? How many people in the family?
There's 4, and now at that point, we're back with my parents.
Okay, so you had 4 people in your family at that point.
4 plus my parents.
Now, okay, do you want to talk about the kids or how they came about, or where do you want to go?
Well, they came about before we left North Carolina. We fostered and adopted them
Yeah.
from infancy.
And they were from North Carolina?
No, that
Where-
was all in Florida.
Where was that?
That was all in Florida before we went to North Carolina.
Before you went to North Carolina. Okay. So why did you have to, why did you end up fostering and adopting and such?
Oh, well, because we couldn't get pregnant. It was year 15 and no children.
Huh.
So we had 15 years of no children.
Yeah. But you wanted children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you fostered and ended up adopting.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. Where did these kids come from? Were they how did they come to be in your care?
Well, they were taken away from their birth mother.
Oh. So you saved them.
Yes.
That's cool. John Canada. Excellent. You and the wife. Excellent.
We saved them.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. So you took them, of course, you're taking them wherever you go because they're part of your life now. They're part of you, part of the family. So you take them to North Carolina. How are they flourishing in North Carolina?
Oh, they were doing pretty good.
Good, good. And the wife was having fun in her job, or no joy?
Oh, no joy. That was just a train. The job situation there was just a train wreck.
Okay, So North Carolina is not the right fit for you.
Yeah, no.
Good.
I'm convinced it was for one purpose only.
Just to fix the brain. You did it.
That's it.
Congratulations on that front. And thanks to the doctors that in North Carolina that helped you.
Yep. So when we returned back home, I was still jobless.
Right.
Until about May of June of 2015.
Yeah, starting all over again in your 40s.
No, actually late 40s.
Right. In your late
Like
40s, you're starting
47.
all over again, man.
Right.
How difficult is that? Or
Well,
how easy was it?
I went back to what I left, which was the sheriff's office.
And they accepted you with open arms?
Yep.
Excellent. You had left a good impression when you
Of
left
course.
to go to North Carolina
Yeah.
and try your hand at what was up there. That didn't
Yeah.
pan out. You come back to the sheriff's office. Excellent, man. So what kind of work did you end up doing with the sheriffs?
And to start, I had to work midnights in the jail.
Ah, midnight in the jail. That sounds like a horror novel or
Yeah, it can be.
But you're helping people
I did that
rehabilitate.
for a year and 4 months,
Okay.
and then got back to where I left, which was crime analysis.
And what made you interested in that?
I don't know. I'm pretty intuitive about stats and puzzles, and
Yeah.
I wonder who did this and how they did it. Kind of intrigued.
So detective novels, movies.
No, just the curiosity and the wanting to catch the bad guy.
All right. Looking for
Without being stopped.
the spy at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. The spy, because you know there's a spy at the airport.
Yeah,
Your
there
job,
is.
Find him.
That's a little Carlin for you, George Carlin.
Yeah.
One of
Mhm.
our heroes growing up. The other hero, well,
Well, we won't mention the other hero because he has since disappointed
why?
the
Why?
vast majority of the world.
Why? Now, I've heard in other podcasts, other instances, other places that you're allowed to like the people until they get caught. So everything
Yeah.
that they did until they get caught, you're allowed to still
Is
like
good.
that.
Yeah. Well, we do still like that because as this podcast needs is the connection between you and I.
That's correct.
What brought us together? Oh
Yes.
my God.
What
Do
did?
you remember?
Yes. On the
What was
bus
it?
heading
It
for
was
high
Bill.
school, probably day one of high
It
school.
was Bill.
I'm in 9th grade. You're in 10th grade. You're up in the seat ahead of me, talking to the aforementioned Eric Musgrave, and
Mhm.
you're mentioning some of the greatest bits ever known by. I'll say it. You didn't mention it, but I did. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby. I think it was right. Was it right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Bill
Right.
Cosby is a very funny fellow. Right. And these are excerpts from that album that you were reciting to your friend or going back and forth. And I knew that album. I had that album. I owned that album. I overplayed that album. So that is what brought us together initially. Bill Cosby. Yeah.
Yep.
So then, I brought my albums over. We played them at your place and just enjoyed ourselves, man.
Yeah, man.
And this is what? This was 82 or 83. I can't even remember.
Good time.
What was it?
It was good times.
Was it 82 or 83? 1982 or? Man.
It had to be 82. I was in 10.
Right. So 1982 and the school year of 82 to 83 in Western High School, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. At least
Davie, Florida.
Davie, Florida. Unincorporated Broward is where we lived. I think the address stayed at Fort Lauderdale at the time.
It's not incorporated anymore.
That is correct. That is correct. So moving on to the history of you, John Canada, what has come about, man, from all this running and
before I started working, I came back and wrote a book.
You did. You wrote a book. I've heard of that.
I wrote a book about my trip to North Carolina and the running to the new beginning.
Yes. And that's the title of the book, Running to a New Beginning. My Brain Rewired.
Yes.
And this is all about you in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that come about? Writing a book, man. A lot of people think about writing books, but you actually did it.
It was just something I was actually quite therapeutic.
Yeah. Well,
let's call it that.
Yeah. How did you learn how to write a book? How did you even know?
I just started writing. And interestingly enough, it was, again, something else I never did before that was probably there the whole time.
So you weren't the best English student writing essays all the time?
I just wasn't a writer. So after writing that book and publishing it and e-publishing it.
Right.
Spinning forward as I'm doing crime analysis in several districts.
Sure.
And now in the secret squirrel world.
Secret squirrel?
I went back to school to get my master's degree.
What? You went back to school?
And again, I went back to school there. 20 years after the last time I was in school.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's never too late.
And it's all about the writing in this venture. And come to find out, I'm pretty damn good at it.
At the writing? Or the secret squirrel?
At the writing.
Oh, okay.
Well, both.
Yeah. So are you writing more?
Oh, every semester, I think in every week, I think I write at least 2 papers, about 1,500 words or more per paper.
What about?
Oh, about law enforcement and about intelligence.
That's cool.
The art of intelligence.
So, are you going to publish another book?
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to see what arises after I secure the degree.
Yeah. So, okay, what are you going to school for?
Law enforcement intelligence.
That is so cool. So, what had you gone to school before for? Because I know we went to, some college.
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Now, you did this not only in Broward College, but you went to Florida State too, right?
No, I'm going to Florida State now.
Okay, and then Florida Atlantic?
It was Florida Atlantic first.
Florida Atlantic University is where you went before. So you're at Florida State now?
Yeah.
Is that something you're doing online? I'm guessing it is, because Florida State's kind of far away. What is it?
It's 100% online.
That is so good. See, this internet thing, it's going to catch on. People are doing lots of good things on the internet. It's not just for dumping on people on social media. It's also for learning things, for filling your brain, your newly rewired, crafted brain with knowledge, man. So seizure free, completely.
Completely. No seizures ever. And no more medicine. It's over.
More medicine. No more medicine at all. That is crazy.
0.
Wow. And how has it affected you brain-wise? I mean, has it affected your memory, or are you able to?
No, I didn't lose one lick of memory.
Right.
And I think that my intelligence is better now.
Yeah. personality? Any changes? I mean, that you wouldn't notice maybe, but the wife, has she noticed anything? Family?
A little more structured.
Yeah. Analytical, if you will.
Goal oriented. A little less about the feelings of things. That comes with the removal of the amygdala.
Yeah.
See, the amygdala
What does that
covers flight or fight response.
Say again?
The amygdala is responsible, amongst other things, for the flight or fight response.
Okay. So how does that affect you
So
with no
a little
amygdala?
a little more fearless now than before.
He's a man without fear. he is the daredevil. I thought you were the Tasmanian devil before.
Yeah, that's me.
Now you're the daredevil.
Yeah, and that's still everywhere and on everything, even my arm.
Oh, so you still have all the. Oh, did you tattooed a Tasmanian devil?
Oh
on
yeah,
you did.
oh yeah.
That was always your spirit animal. Growing up was the Tasmanian devil.
I did.
I
tattooed them on.
That's great, John Canada. Learning more about you, man. See, I learned more about you with your first sentence, or pretty much. Where were you born? I didn't know that you were from Hialeah, man. That's
you never
great.
asked.
No, I never. I always. Well, pretty presumptuous of me that you were from Fort Lauderdale. And so Secret Squirrel. How much can you divulge about that?
Oh, it's just all about on the down low investigations.
Investigations. Okay. That's good. You're helping to catch bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Keep the city safe. So is this, it's still law enforcement, correct?
Yeah.
Does it involve you going out into the streets? Are you a beat cop of sorts, or do you have to carry a weapon?
It's like I said in the beginning about being a stalker.
Ah.
I operate with different databases and platforms that enable me to dig up information on anybody.
Ah.
With a little creepy line, stalkerish.
Well, that sounds kind of fun.
That's a good movie.
What was your good movie?
You want to see a good movie?
Was it?
The Creepy Line.
The Thin Line?
The Creepy Line.
No, I've never seen The Creepy Line. Tell me about that.
I can't tell you about it. You'll ruin it. You got to just see it. It will blow your mind.
I'll be looking for The Creepy Line. Well, cool, John Canada. Things going relatively well for you right now, then?
Yeah.
So where do you go from here?
I'm in the division I want to be in. I'm doing the school I want to do.
Excellent, man. I'm glad you made it back to where you need to be. The Creepy Line. The Creepy Line is a 2018 American documentary. The influence of Google and Facebook have on public opinion and the power the companies have that is not regulated or controlled by national government legislation. Ugh. It's kind of a new movie.
Yeah, you got to see it though.
I do have to see it.
It will blow your mind. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long, and
it's available on Prime Video, which I have. So yeah,
I don't think you'll be surprised,
right?
Per se, but some of the things that are mentioned will surprise you and disappoint you.
All right. Okay. So, where do we go from here, John Canada? It's been way too long since we've seen each other, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's got to stop, man. Really.
I mean, I'm stuck all the way here in Conway, Arkansas. I say stuck, but not stuck. Living, having a good life, but tearing myself away is difficult at best. But we'll get down there. We'll get down there eventually. It's going to happen. John Canada, you're running. You wrote a book about running. You had epilepsy. You don't have epilepsy. You got the surgery. Okay, you said you could have had 2 surgeries or 1 surgery to fix the epilepsy. Would it been advantageous for the 2 surgeries, or
No,
what were they recommending?
Because the first surgery was to implant a device that was emitted pulses to counteract the other, and I was like not having any part of that.
Okay, all right. So we're all
Like,
eventually going to have
free.
chips put in our head anyway. You were just going to get
Right.
yours early.
Yeah.
It's a creepy line, man.
Oh my gosh. You just don't know.
All right, so tell me more about you. What's going on with your life? I'm looking at your Facebook page, and I'm currently stalking you, and I'm seeing you. You posted something about your aura. Are you into that now, or is that something that you were just having fun with?
I was just having fun.
Okay, spiritually, religiously, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah?
connected. I'm like, hey, you know,
Where you at with
gotta-
that whole thing?
whatever the plan is, he'll figure it out. He'll reveal it to me as I go through my life.
Yeah.
And that's it. All I can do is use the skills I was given
Good deal.
and develop the skills that I didn't know were there.
So you're currently doing that online. How often do you have to get online to get your
I
degree fixed up?
I get on a couple times a week, and then I get on the weekend to write my papers.
So at your own leisure, you could have this
Yeah.
degree.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. Florida State University.
Yeah.
You'll be able to hang that diploma on the wall.
Yes, sir.
That is so good. And where do you take your tests?
I'll probably be able to use it to get into the feds too.
Yes. And
Next
that was the
level.
goal the whole time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in what
That-
capacity?
Well, to FBI, which I had almost gotten into in 2008.
Sure.
But see, the good Lord was like, yeah, no, not now. Because I
Right.
need you to be frustrated enough to take this job in North Carolina, because I need you to go there. Because I need you to get stressed out so I can make sure the surgery happens.
You got a path that you're on, man, and I appreciate it. So, man, I've already put that creepy line on my watch list. It seems like it's something I need to see. The running, still running
Yeah,
every day.
on fire.
What's that?
On fire.
On fire every day. You're running
On fire. Yeah.
on fire. I'm not sure what that means, John Canada.
Dude, I'm on fire.
I hope not
In
literally.
every aspect. Literally. On fire.
I hope not literally. I hope that's figurative, my man.
Yeah.
All right. Good. John Canada. So, how do they get a hold of this book that you wrote?
Oh, you can go online. Pretty much any outlet that has media will have it.
Okay. What's the best way for you?
Oh, Kindle is good. You can go to lulu.com. You can go to CreateSpace. Well, actually, CreateSpace is now part of Kindle.
Okay, so Amazon then.
Amazon's good. Amazon will work. And all you really have to do is Google it, and it's there. You Google the title or John Canada III.
Yeah.
You'll
So-
get a list of options.
Look up Running to a New Beginning, My Brain Rewired by John Canada III.
That's it.
Excellent, man. I'm so happy to talk to you, man. I'm glad you could share your story, a little bit about your story, and what you went through going. I mean, epilepsy your whole life, and I mean, you were able to still get married and drive a car and do a lot of normal things that, quote unquote normal things that people do. You lived your life even with this with epilepsy, but on a lot of different drugs, a lot of different medication that you had to be on. So that part you could have done without. But I'm glad you got it all cleared up.
But it's all the journey, man. It's just a journey.
Yeah, and you're running to that journey. You started by walking to the journey, and you ended up running, and you're still running, man. That's excellent. And man, I'm so glad that you're back in school.
Man.
That's great too. Never stop learning, and that's why I created this podcast, man. It's just to learn from people, and I'm learning from you, man. My best friend, my oldest, dearest friend in the whole wide world. What's that?
Keep on swimming.
Keep on swimming. Yeah, that's one of the things I did in high school. I swam.
Just keep on swimming.
I guess I wasn't that sedentary. I did do some swimming.
Oh, no. You fought fires, too, at one point. But
Yeah. But that was a little bit later.
And that was a little scary after the apartment.
Yeah. I think that's what got me into the fire department was when I burned my apartment down in Fort Lauderdale or Davie.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to come see it. That area is much different now.
They knocked those apartments down or what?
I think those apartments are not there anymore.
Waterside Circle, I think was what it was. Off of Weston, somewhere around there in that area.
Well, Weston is very different and very grown up. Oh my gosh, you should see it.
Yeah, I always want. Every time I get back there, I would check out my old house and your old house and find out things. But it's been a long time since I've been there. Need to get back down to South Florida, South FLA. See my man John William Canada the Third, not the turd, the third.
Yeah, man.
He's in a long line of John Canadas. He was the last in the trilogy.
Yeah.
So, man, so good to talk to you, and thank you for taking some time to be on the podcast. Yeah. Anything else you want to tell the people?
Just buy the book. It's awesome. It's uplifting.
Yeah, get that running book.
It's overcoming adversity.
Well, I'll put the links on the bottom of the podcast notes and let the people know how to get a hold of the books. And do you want them to get a hold of you on your Facebook?
Hey, let them get a hold of me on my Facebook. Yeah.
The Taz Devil 8888.
Bring it on.
Or it's 3/8.
I will enlighten them. 3/8.
3/8.
Yeah, you can use that's the Taz Devil 888. That's my Facebook.
That's your Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, my man, John Canada. Any last words for the people?
Just keep on moving forward, people. Yeah, you can use that's the Taz Devil 888. That's my Facebook.
That's your Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, my man, John Canada. Any last words for the people?
Just keep on moving forward, people.
There you have it, party people. John William Canada III. John W. Canada III. The third in the trilogy. He is amazing, man. I know I caught him. This podcast was, I guess it's 8:30 in the PM his time. So, he probably had a long day, but the man took the time to do a nice little show with me, a little podcast, and talked about his running and his book and his epilepsy. Man, that epilepsy, it was interesting growing up with John Canada. We went on a lot of outings, a lot of double dates. We didn't even talk about the motorcycles and the ATCs. He was never allowed to be on the back of a motorcycle or an ATV. Not that his parents know of. Shall I admit? Well, I will not admit. I will not admit guilt. But we had some good times, man. John Canada, I look forward to seeing you again, my man. And I hope everything goes well and ever forward. So happy you're in school again, man. Doing what you want to do. Criminal justice. Taking care of the people and defeating bad guys. You're a hero, man. John Canada. All right, my man. Thank you once again for being on the show. If you want to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous, the podcast. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.
Radio What, the music you want. Hey guys, this is Shelly G with a fast fact. The ocarina, a musical wind instrument, is also known as the sweet potato. Do you have a fast fact? Share it with us at Interactive Radio, radiowhat.com.
Follow Keys Dan on Facebook and Twitter. Click on the links at the top of keysdan.com. Follow Radio What on Facebook and Twitter. Click on the links at the top of radiowhat.com. The music you want is on.